Welcome to the Sales Influence Podcast, where we talk about finding the why in how people buy. I'm your host, Victor Antonio, and today we're going to talk about how to reverse engineer your income. That's right, I'm going to teach you how to reverse engineer your income in sales. Now, before I move into the podcast, again, want to thank you guys for the feedback I'm getting on iTunes, Stitcher, and especially YouTube. Again, I'm trying my best to keep up with all the feedback. Thank you very much. I do appreciate you getting back to me. Anyway, let's talk about knowing your numbers, how to reverse engineer your income. Now, this exercise is so easy to do, but it blows my mind in terms of how many people don't do it. And I bet that 9 out of 10 people listening to this podcast have never done this exercise, but yet it is one of the most important exercises when it comes to income that you can do to make sure you hit your revenue number for the year. Now, with enough drama set up already, let's talk about how do you make, let's say, $100,000 a year. Now, you can pick your own number, but let's just kind of use $100,000. If I'm in sales and I want to make $100,000 a year, let's say that's my goal, then okay, I need to understand how am I going to get to that number? How am I specifically going to hit $100,000? Well, let's play a little what if right now. Let's say I sell a product or a service, doesn't matter, product or service, and let's say every time I sell that product or that service, I get $1,000 commission. Again, so here are two numbers so far that you should have in your head. And again, if you're driving, just listen, but later on, when you get back home in front of a desk, get out a pencil and paper and work this out. Start out with your goal. The big goal is $100,000. Now, if you're a company, small business, then maybe it's not $100,000. Maybe it's $1 million, whatever the number is. But start out with that number. And then on average, how much commission, how much money do you make from every product sold? And let's say it's $1,000. That means, it's not hard to calculate, that in order for me to get to $100,000, based on the fact that I'm making $100,000 commission, I have to sell 100 units. Okay? That could be units of products or units of service, doesn't matter. So in other words, 100 times 1,000 gets me to 100,000. Now, the other number we have to factor in is your close rate. And that is, how many deals do you actually close? So for example, if you talk to 10 people, 10 clients, and you only close 2 out of every 10, your close rate is 20%. Let me say that again, because you have to know your close rate. If you're a true sales professional, you're a true business owner, you should know your close rate. And again, if you talk to 10 people, 10 clients, how many would you close? Is it 3, 4, 5? Who knows? I'll just use 2. If you close 2 out of 10, your close rate is 20%. Now remember, we have to sell 100 units at with $1,000 commission just to get to $100,000, which means that if I have a close rate of 20%, I need to talk to more than 100 people. So I take 100 units. That's the number of units I have to sell. I take 100 units, I divide it by 20% or 0.2. 100 units divided by 0.2, which is 20% close rate, tells me that I need to talk to 500 clients. I have to talk to 500 clients over the year in order to hit my number. Think about it. 500 clients, if I close out of 500 clients, I close 20%, that's 100. So in other words, in order for me to hit 100 units sold, I have to talk to 500 people. Now, right now, that number seems overwhelming. But let's think about it. If you take 500 clients and you divide those clients by 12, it's more or less 42 clients per month. Oh, that's much more reasonable. 42 clients per month you need to get in front of. If you take that number and divide it by 4 on a per week basis, you have to talk to 10 clients. Every week, you need to talk to 10 clients. Now, that's more than reasonable. And if you divide it by 5 days out of the week, that means you have to talk to 2 clients per day to stay on track. Do you see how this number game works? Because if you don't know your numbers, you'll never hit your big number, which in this case is $100,000. So again, let me run through it very quickly. If your goal is $100,000 or whatever the number is, figure out, based on the product or service you're selling, what your commission is. And we used $1,000. So again, for me to hit $100,000, making $1,000 commission, I need to talk to, or sell rather, 100 people. Am I going to sell everybody? Absolutely not, because I have a close rate. My close rate, I calculate, for me is 20%. That is, for every 10 people I talk to, I only close 2 out of 10. So then what I did was I took 100 units, which is what I have to sell to hit my 100,000, divided it by the close rate, which is 0.2. That means I need to talk to 500 people per year, which comes out to 42 people per month, or clients per month, or 10 per week, or 2 per day. Now, 2 per day is reasonable. That's like breaking it down into bite-sized chunks. If you talk to 2 people every day, or 10 people per week or more, then you're going to hit your number. Now, there's 3 ways that you can accelerate this. Let's say you want to do 100,000, but you want to get there faster. Well, there's several ways you can do it. One is you can increase the average commission. If there's a way to make more money per sale instead of just making $1,000, is there a way of increasing that number? Because if I can increase the average commission that I make on the sale, that's less people I have to sell, because I'll hit my number faster. Now, there's several ways. One is you can increase the commission. Maybe you can negotiate a better commission, or if you can't, maybe you can upsell or cross-sell a different product. In other words, include something else like an add-on with what you're selling, so you'll make a higher commission. So that's one way to get to 100,000 faster. Another way of doing it is increase the number of people you talk to. I stated here that you could talk to 2 clients per day. Well, maybe you want to talk to 4 or 5 or 7 clients per day and really talk to more people, which means your probability of success go up dramatically. So that's another thing you can do to accelerate towards 100,000 faster. Another thing you can look at, this is my favorite, and I think the easiest one to do, is learn to be better at selling. Because if you're better at selling, you can increase your close rate. So imagine for a moment that instead of a 20% close rate, you're able to bump that up to, let's say, 30%, which means you're now closing 3 out of 10 deals. Run the numbers, it'll accelerate you faster towards 100,000. So here's the exercise for you. Think of a number that you want to hit. Figure out what your average commissions are, and then figure out how many people do you have to talk to on a per day basis to hit your number. You can do it. Break that big number down into something that's bite-sized. In other words, you got to talk to 500 clients. You break that down per month, that's 42. Per week, that's 10. Per day, that's 2. That is doable, and I know you can do it as well. So again, figure out what your numbers are. You need to know what you need to get to your number quicker, faster, and better. Anyway, that's it for this Sales Influence podcast. Thank you again for listening. Don't forget to leave me some feedback on iTunes, Stitcher, or YouTube. Let me know what you think. I'd greatly appreciate it. Also, check out my sales training website, seminarsonselling.com, where you'll find great training videos for you or your team to help you grow your business. Lastly, I want to thank you for listening. This is Victor Antonio, always reminding you, selling ain't hard when you know how. Take care. Hi, I'm Victor Antonio. I'm an author, sales trainer, and keynote speaker. I'm often asked, what makes a great speaker? Is it someone who delivers real content that the audience can use? Is it someone who engages the audience so they're part of the learning experience? Or is it someone who can motivate an audience to push them beyond their comfort zone and discover new abilities? The answer is yes. But the most important thing to remember is that I'm not there to look good. I'm there to make my client look good. Simply put, it's never about me, and it's always about them.